Now, for my side of my chair, and like I said, I can turn this into a lot of different kinds of chairs. God bless you. I'm going to just set up those verticals and horizontals to give myself a basic shape. Because if you would just make this into the actual shape, this would be the world's most uncomfortable chair. It really would. But we need a basic shape first. Why is it what?
It looks like it's just on the floor.
It looks like it's what?
On the floor.
Oh, like flat?
Yeah, why isn't it not against the wall?
Because I want to actually open up this wall for me.
Oh.
And so you're walking into another room. You can put it up against that wall if you want. I just didn't want mine up against the wall. What's the matter? It's up to you. It's completely up to you where you put it. I just wanted to let you know why I was putting mine right here. Because again, I'm making that little enclosed living area that's kind of off to the side of this room. So let's say you come in your front door, right? You can walk straight through this area without being impeded, and you go straight into either your kitchen or into this secondary room over here. Which could be a dining area, it could be a game area, it could have all kinds of things. Or you could just put a regular old door and it could be leading into bedrooms or other things in your house. But to start our chair in this angle, it is just kind of a combination of two rectangles, right? Chunky back, chunky bottom. Nothing too fancy. And we are going to be adjusting that into a couple of different kinds of chairs, because I'm going to draw one here for you. I'm going to draw a comfy soft one first, and then I'll show you how you can also take this and turn it into more like a wooden chair or a chair that has like spindled legs, and then you can decide what kind you want. All right, so basic perspective. I have the side of this chair that's facing me, right? What would be our next step? How do we show the depth of this? Go to our vanishing point. Somebody do a quick count. How many lines are going to need going to our vanishing point? 5. Very good. I'm going to need this corner, demonstrative words, this corner, this corner, this corner, and this corner. Those 5 lines going to the vanishing point. Now my vanishing point is still here, so I need to keep using that same vanishing point, and I'm going to draw those lines. Now, if you want just a standard chair, a single person sitting in it, don't make your lines too long. What could you make though if you made your lines longer? Yeah, you can make a love seat, you can make a sofa, you can make different kinds of furniture. I'm just going to do a chair, but if you want to make a sofa, extend your lines a little longer. That is fine. Extend your lines a little longer. Now again, we are just drawing the basic shape of it right now. We're going to be changing some of this, because that is going to help us make it look like a comfy chair. Now this basic shape, if we sized it differently, what else could it be? Yeah, we can make this into steps. We can actually set up a staircase in our room if we want. We could also do this for exteriors. Like if you wanted to make some steps to go up to your house because your house is on blocks instead of on the ground, you can use this basic set of steps, that basic shape, to help make steps as well. The sharpeners are in the baskets over there. Now once you have your vanishing point lines, how do we stop the shape? Once we have our vanishing point lines, how do we stop the shape? Copying the edges that's in the front. So if I have a horizontal here, I need another horizontal in the back. If I have a vertical here, I need another vertical in the back. And so on and so forth until you get that nice, chunky, blocky shape. And again, we are going to be changing some of this to turn it into a specific kind of chair, but this basic shape to start with is what we need. So horizontal, where it meets that vanishing point line, that's where I'm going to put my vertical. Where it meets the next vanishing point line, that's where I'm going to put my horizontal, my next horizontal. And where it meets that vanishing point line, I'm going to draw another vertical. If I had any excess vanishing point lines, I'd want to make sure to erase these. Now, honestly, could you sit on this? Imagine you had a big cement thing like this in your house. Can you sit on it? Yeah, you can sit on it, but it wouldn't be comfortable. Not in the slightest. Not to mention you'd probably scratch your floor if you try to bring a big cement block into your house. But what could we do to make this more comfy? Put some cushions on it. Round some things out. Instead of being so angular, we can start rounding some things, right? We can absolutely start doing that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start playing around with this shape. I will verbalize it as I'm going. Right? I will verbalize it as I'm going. However, you do not have to follow along with me step by step. As long as you have this basic shape, you'll be able to turn it into a couple of different kinds of chairs. Completely up to you of what kind you want to do. And like I said, I will be erasing some of these lines I just made to make it look more like a comfy chair. All right? So the first thing I'm going to want for my comfy chair is going to be a curved back to my chair. So what I'm doing is cutting into my block to give myself a curved back. I have back issues every now and then, and something that supports your lower back, like right here, is a lot more comfy than some things that are curved the opposite direction. Now, with this curve happening right here, two of my vanishing point lines are going to change, and that's okay. This one here is going to actually get erased because it's going to be a curve now. It's not going to be an angle. And I'm going to have to adjust my top one down a little bit to hit my new curve that I made. So I'm going to bring this a little bit down. I'm going to bring that little part a little bit down. I'm going to be able to erase this back part of the chunk that I don't need anymore. I'm carving into that big block of cement. And I'm going to match the curve that I made in the front and the back. Is it already looking a little bit more comfy? A little bit. It's not there yet. I can make it look more like cushions by putting a couple little buttons that have little creases, and now it looks like eyes. I don't think any of y'all were around whenever Pee-wee's Playhouse played. Any of y'all ever saw Pee-wee's Playhouse? Yeah? Y'all remember the big talking chair? Yes. Yeah, that's kind of what this is. Proud of y'all parents. That's old school. That was before y'all were born. Just saying. Oh yeah, Pee-wee's Playhouse was before y'all were born. All right. Now we have a comfy thing to lean against, but we don't have a really comfy thing to sit on, right? So I want to cut into this bottom section to give myself an area to sit on. A nice little comfy part that's going to have arms, right? That's going to have arms. So if you want to watch this next little step, you can take a break and watch it just so you can see how I'm doing it. Do you have to do it like mine? No, you do not. You can if you want to, but you do not have to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use these two sides here and here to be some nice rounded arms of a chair, right? I'm not going to keep them blocky. I'm not going to keep them angular, but I do want some arms of that chair or love seat or big comfy chair, however you want to make it. Those two little arms are just going to be little rounded ends here and here. But because they're arms, that means I need to drop the seat down. I'm going to cut into that block. I'm going to cut into that block. And I'm going to cut into the block using my vanishing point. And I'm going to do that right here. I'm going to do that right here. Now, because I've cut into it, I get to erase this little line. And you kind of visualize how it's happening. You kind of see, right? Having the block helps us out, but we kind of adjust the block as we go. And like I said, I will show you a secondary chair in just a little bit, and then I'm going to go around and check chairs to see where you are and if you need any help with them. I'm going to next draw a horizontal line to show where My arm kind of stops right here, and then I'll match this curve I made in the front in the back. I'll match this curve in the back, which means I'll be able to erase this little line. Okay.
Does the line that we put for the back cushion go to the vanishing point at the end?
This one or this one?
The one at the top. I can make the back.
This part? Yeah, vanishing point. It's hard to explain which line we're talking about unless we say this and point, huh? Now, after I finish my little arm, I can then put my new back of my seat, which would be right here, also going to the vanishing point. Now, because my little curve right here kind of came a little bit further up, I will need to add a little bit to my arm right here. Add a little bit to my arm right here. Now, honestly, this is enough as is. I'm gonna do a couple more details. This is going toward those upper grades. Down here, instead of just being a flat bottom, I'm going to create a thickness of the cushion that I can see just down in the front, right? Just a thickness of the cushion that I can see. And I'm just gonna put some little pillows, because you know, have a little pillow that's on your chair you can kind of cuddle up with. You all good. You can have a cat sitting on the side of you. It'd be all nice and comfy. This is a big enough chair you can put your feet up on the side of it. It's all nice and good. And it can be whatever kind of little cushion pillow you want. You can even have a second little pillow that's just kind of peeking out on this side. Second little pillow that's just kind of peeking out on this side. Now, like I said though, I'm going to show you how to create that same exact basic shape, how I can turn it into another type of chair, and then I'm going to come around and check things. So I'm going to leave this right here for a second so you can look at it and work on things, but I'm going to set up a second one, and then I will show you that one too. Now, if we made that one longer, could we easily make that into a sofa? Sure. And you can make them as cushy and comfortable looking as you would like.
Can I like do my own chair?
As long as you follow vanishing points, absolutely yes. Just got to make sure that you're using your vanishing points, that you're using your accurate perspective. That's nice. All right. My second chair that I want to show you, and again, you do not have to do this exact kind. You do need one chair, but it doesn't matter what kind you put as long as you're showing your vanishing points. I'm going to set this up as a chair that doesn't have arms and has legs to it, that you can actually see the legs of the chair, right? But I'm still starting off with the initial shape. Now, because I know that I'm making it just a skinny back, I started off with a skinny back. You can definitely do that. So you can see my initial shape still has the block for the bottom, but I set up to start that little skinny, slightly curved back. Now, just like our other chair, I'm using my vanishing point, and I'm drawing my lines that I need to show the depth. And again, it's just going to be a little single chair, so I don't need these too long. Here and here. I'm going to stop my shape just like I did the other one, matching what's in the front, putting my curve, putting my horizontal, putting my vertical. Now, this next step that I'm going to show you can also be used for tables. Can also be used for tables. So if you wanted to make a little table in your room, this next step will work the same. Okay? But all you do is you start off with a cube instead of putting the back on it. But you can make a table. So what we have with this chair is a solid block with a little back. I want to cut into the bottom of this to make individual legs, right? So all I'm going to do is first cut into my front section, then I'm going to cut into my depth section, and then I'm going to make sure that I can see all 4 of my legs. So again, this would be the same thing if you wanted to draw a table. You just chop off the top of this and you do exactly these same steps for a table. So I'm going to start with cutting an opening in the front. And this is probably not as comfy of a chair, but that's okay. I'm going to cut a hole, just like we cut a hole in our garage, right? We're going to cut a hole in the front. That's a big back leg, that's okay. And after I cut that hole, I'm going to erase my little bottom line. Won't need that one. I'm going to cut another hole in the front of the chair, this part of it that's facing the side. Verticals on the side, and a little vanishing point line in the front. Sorry, on the top, not the front. Little vanishing point line on the top. And then I can also erase this little bottom section. Now I have 3 legs going on. Do chairs and or tables have 3 legs? Not usually. I mean, you can, but it's usually a circular table, right? Not a square one. If you have a square table, it has 4 legs, 1 on each corner. Now, my chair has 1 leg that has a front surface and a depth. That's what they need. These other 2 don't have it. So we have to add the missing part. And we are missing our 4th leg. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to add the depth to this front one. We're going to add the depth to this front one. And then we're going to add our back leg. Right? All right. So next step. On this front leg right here, the front right leg, or that would be the back left leg, depending on which way you're looking at it. I'm going to draw a little tiny vanishing point line that'll give me my depth of this leg. Little tiny one. I'm also going to draw a little light vanishing point line back here. Why do you think I need this vanishing point line right here? Any idea why I'm putting this little line? Yeah, that back leg. I want to make sure my 2 legs line up with each other, right? So if I put it while I'm doing it, it's going to make life a lot easier. After I put my little vanishing point leg in the front, I can put myself another vertical. That leg is done. Woo! Now on this leg, right here, front right or top left, depending on which angle you're looking at it, I'm going to need a little horizontal section. I need a little horizontal right here at the end of this leg. And I'm going to need another little horizontal right here for where I would be putting my 4th leg, right? Another little horizontal because I want them to line up. I'll finish this off with a vertical. Finish this off with a vertical. And then I can go put my back leg and it should all line up with everything because I'd already put those 2 little lines. Erase any excess. And you have a 4-legged chair and or table. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, but unlike the outsides of a house, there's a bit more steps. Now I'm going to